I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. We all know that the conduct that George Santos or Anthony DeVolder or whatever his name is, the MAGA Republican extremist, we know his conduct was disgusting, horrific, lie after lie, completely unethical, totally embraced by the MAGA Republican Party. But let's talk about what was criminal, and specifically an amended filing he made with the Federal Elections Commission on Tuesday that demonstrates what federal prosecutors, state prosecutors, local prosecutors are all going to be focused on. And these are what appear to be very clear examples of campaign finance violations and straw person or straw man donations or loans that are being funneled through all of these other third parties and being misrepresented on George Santos's financial forms. And what I want to be very clear about is I am very confident. It's my opinion, but I am very confident that we will see George Santos indicted in the next 60 to 90 days, specifically for campaign finance violations. They seem so completely obvious. And let's just look out how he was trying to manipulate his filings with the Federal Elections Commission today or that he tried to do on Tuesday. And you could compare his filings on Tuesday, on January 24th, with his filing that he made in September. So one of the questions that everybody had is, how did he get all of this money? He claims that he was making $750,000 last year and that he received somewhere between $1 million and $5 million in dividends. But if you go to his financial filings in 2020, he claims he was only making $50,000 a year. So how all of a sudden is he claiming that he's now making millions of dollars and that he's able to loan his campaign $750,000 or $700,000? And the answer is, he's a liar. He lies about everything, but lying about them in your campaign financial forms is a federal crime and is a crime under state laws as well. So what Santos tried to do is he filed an amended report of receipts and disbursements. And let's pull up what he filed, because when you go onto the very last page, it's buried in Schedule C. What you will see is this is one of the loans that he received for $500,000. And when you go and you look where it says right underneath election and you see the box that says personal funds of the candidate, that's what you would check if you are loaning your own campaign the money, if it comes from your personal funds. But here, the loan source is still Santos DeVolder, George Anthony DeVolder. So he's saying he's the loan source, but there is no longer a checkbox where it says personal funds of the candidate. However, if we go back to the filing from September 12th of 2022, let's look at the same Schedule C. Boom, you see that box is checked. And this is really one of the only major differences that Santos has made in filing these amended disclosures that he filed on January 24th. The September one you see is checked. Personal funds of the candidate is checked. So it didn't come from his personal funds. So where did this money come from? Although he's still saying he's the loan source, but that they're not his personal funds. So who is funneling this money to him? So first, let me address the fact of, where did Santos start making all of this money? How is he making millions of dollars? Okay. My own hypothesis is a fairly easy one. I just think he's lying on his forms. I don't think he's making $750,000 a year. I don't think he's making between $1 million and $5 million in dividends. I think he is completely broke. And he's not just giving his campaign money, he's loaning his campaign money. So the question is, well, he must have a lot of money because he's loaning his campaign money. No, somebody else, some other source is providing him with the $700,000 or $750,000. Here's $500,000 of it as well. he amended another one of his disclosures for $125,000. So you add those numbers up and you're at your pretty much your $750,000 or close to it loan that Santos made, which he claims he made from himself to try to act like he's rich and wealthy and all of the other lies that he likes to make about himself. But he took some other source of money and he lent it. And by doing it as a loan, there's someone out there or some entities out there that are ultimately expecting to get repaid for the loan that they gave, both financially repaid, number one, and number two, repaid in terms of getting benefits from George Santos. So that to me is clearly what's taking place here. And this would be a classic campaign finance violation. And even if George Santos claims that his corporation, this DeVolder Holdings company, again, which based on all of my research and analysis, I don't think that even exists. I mean, it may exist in theory. I mean, I think that shortly after the election, they claimed that the accountant failed to file its papers, so it went out of business temporarily. But, it may exist, but it's not a real entity. I mean, it doesn't list getting money from clients, which is something that entities that would have consulting services you'd expect that they have clients. So I don't think that that's a real functioning entity. I think it's just like his Pets United charity. It's all complete and utter BS is what we are seeing here. And so I think that he just took a loan. There's a straw man loan, meaning that it's funneled through him or funneled through the DeVolder organization or funneled through the entity. But the question is who's loaning him that money? And that is ultimately where federal prosecutors and state and local prosecutors are going to be focused on and drill down on. And we see here with Santos's amended disclosures, very specifically where they are looking, where prosecutors are looking. Now, one of the things that Santos also mentioned on Tuesday is he told the media he has a big announcement to make. But the troll that he is and the troll that the MAGA Republican Party is, what they ended up doing, what Santos did is he put Dunkin' Donuts outside in the hallways for reporters and says, ha ha ha, this is my surprise for you. You get Dunkin' Donuts coffee. That's the big announcement that I'm going to make. And as he gave the Dunkin' Donuts to the reporters, he was filing at the very same time his amended disclosure report to the Federal Elections Commission. So that is who George Santos is. And frankly, the MAGA Republican Party looks at George Santos and goes, you get a committee. We're putting you on the small business committee so you can look at fraud and have oversight functions over fraud committed by small businesses. And in fact, we'll give you 2 committee assignments. Not only will we give you small business, but we'll also give you the Committee on Science and Space and Technology so you can have oversight over all of that as well. Folks, the House Republican Party, the MAGA Republican Party of today is disgusting. It is sickening because it is represented by people like George Santos. And this is not what our politics should be. But stay tuned. It's my expectation. Again, I've been pretty good on these predictions, and no one's being so bold as to make this prediction yet, but I think you'll see an indictment, based on my own opinion, based on the data that I've seen, an indictment in the next 60 or 90 days of Santos for campaign finance-related violations. Everything is a fraud. Everything is unethical, and it looks to be very criminal as well. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. And check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. You'll love our content there, and it helps support this independent media platform. We did our first Patreon Zoom chat where you got to ask me and my brothers all of the questions that you wanted. We met with everyone. We spent 3 hours answering everyone's questions, and I hope that you'll join us for the next one. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.